Malungil tutawe Janice, ngil tutawe birthday and happy family day. Lon moraro kul lo bangeter el altutara Udesuall. Happy belated Thanksgiving there Eli. El altutao maral magise malungil ayang at makmal luase akmal dimreng asule la Dios luase tia long weekend ra Thanksgiving ma family din ma weekend maralungil te al ra families luguk para mamalat kaigel el klebo ko leungil to ko raklaat maklangar regit mak mo open tial Udesuall el altuta maldi ayamar el girela a main host regit a Moses oludong amal mle ungil lo Thanksgiving dinner ang malgram na motel aldays el makita tyo seringi mang maldi mle olengit luase ere guklo lungul raplar el altutaw mang dimle me sendra message seringi luaseng family day emle Thanksgiving early mang Katokor amasaw, raigel pelgul at tokor ongal, kamatalungal, kamabalu, mabaltigareng, maklay nga sew, maomereng alsaw, ratalong alet, el almaring el klaadarigit. Mang mal masaw la Moses, pray for him for his quick recovery. Marokong etial, kita rokul dimtingel was etial sure kita ra Udesuall, tiang open platform. Tiang program te al te beda qaldib kida mar adrablu el altutango bengeda mal to gubetsel okia qargid el Ngirchoureng magaki mo qora qaw story el altutaw dikmal law aiso se tia te al rgid roqul madingel wase we have a constitutional right el other belau kier belau marangaray krel mandirek engarngi sel meltetol ol taw do swed arngal meltetol mo matengel wase ngarangarngi al seltial balwat engara lorula government engara kuklorula wa private sector ngara igel kora madabdu al selabalu ngia agire del kaw tengel girel alungi lumakukal matar basul mangia tigire del mokaw tenge mongil masaw de mongil magloreol lo sika kora ungil solutions. So again, happy family day. Kwel gamra Mr. Jim GESELBRACHT.
I see.
Enggang engel malmo tangalil famous el ngaliket el adar amerikel malmoret sel mengitak laigel klebok el darab asil maungil litak bellaura angaray amol almel muter elang
Malungil tutao
malungil family oy magikora dimo at atu el tutao era ki momu malmo mutengay kel gukleplel holding rekit el girel Palau akora dimo muy waigel guk mlara news el qora dimle madabtub kita mtingel wase last week yang mal katokoram le masang leng ngaringa economic symposium may gerokul events el meliwek karingi laringi sel Palau Agriculture Fair. Malgoram lebato kamadabdub ikatanom tingel wase daitorio rekit President SWJ, President Whips Jr. at direk el ngarawurul makatamal maluluul girele ngakatelo mesa newspaper ngaringa malungil siya sing daitorio ma First Lady. They look very happy and grateful. So a happy family day to you, President Whips and First Lady Valerie Whips. Matulungal ka kami rokuy. Aktira kal maloreng ra happy family day mora Surangal Whips Senior and Mrs. Whips, Marilyn Whips. I love those old people who are like him and his wife are very family oriented. They are very close, family-oriented, and training their children and grandchildren to be the same. I'm always very grateful that we have families like that in Palau, and they are good role models, and they help us to really see the value of family. Aktire kalman lo ay sulwas al Sunday, ang laringi sele 2022 National Government Employee Award this celebration day rar atra lowra government ang laring isera Wednesday Ramayuns Airport. Makulareng so seng man no ngila rendil mili, le ngila rendil kuk mala award tir. Mang kita ada bela ko tal makasay, mang mal atong uri kita ada loro rakabelment tira public servants. Adire kal mal deserve ayel time el kita mereng asulir. Makada mereng asulir leng Tiria tegal mata mara kapli mara ngaliked matulungal kal nga rabuay marulaw rabuay ol ngaseo rabalu. Ma private sector adire kal mal kulingit tulwase home support rawreo rakavelment lesel dora el mormata tesel bol el gora ngari abatok el gora madabatu el baby lang mo obreo del togo en yol tangarang en kadawre nga saul wase ngari rakavelment trigit ngari sabil kuk mare edalol ngaseo tirgel mal nga sol al sela pelwat mang kadamere nga sulir are all government employees happy family day to you as well aktire kalo ay selwase sele 12th Koror state legislature kora malmlotma karsera Tuesday night terirelia malungil blongur it's KSL Tamiru rablongul girir tirgel Koror State Framers Appreciation Dinner tirgel milu sa Constitution rablur orior matamlara landmark selngar emtak celebrate labantarir tirgel over 10 surviving members of the Koror State Constitutional Convention. Tial Koror State Constitution 39 years ago. Lamo metan u ako arak. Mang malungil makakalmutal mal marang asulir tirgel guk adad el other belau mar bebidigi del tirang maklangar tir guk maratrual ray kay gidel ngara akingal rabuay ol ngaseo gidel makal maru laureor malu sa constitution orur tatoko laureor rabalu. So again, happy family day to all Palauans inside Palau and outside of Palau. Tiang al adibelau sel ngaringa family there ngisel Friday the day after Thanksgiving. And this is kadamrang asule la former President Johnson Toribio. Lengeya kukmle help put this into place. Malungil lang for a long weekend. It's rare but most of it are mak with their families. So Jim kamal masaw lolo pangkekar el altutaw Udesuall. I masak marane pleased to meet you and your lovely wife Jeannie, and also ang kale co-stage player lobang game, your friend Tony. Oh, ang kang mandolin. Oh. And I understand that was kamlapal all gratio mais alwigal mira Palau wave. Maniswakal interview ka rato taut direct ra Eli din ko ramle Thanksgiving Day mak. Pasep ere kita tial mo Udesuall so we can celebrate also tokoira reor let tial lurere mel tokoira music adire kal mal honorable mal ngosu ko mamal other belal mo appreciate not only you but your beautiful gift of music. So the floor is yours. Please let us know tirgal ko kora dirga kal salma mo tangal kawe Jim. Let us know a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I gave a sort of a long discussion of my history the other day, but I'll just sort of summarize it. I came here in 1980, 42 years ago.
Wow, 42 years ago.
My relationship with Palau is older than the Koror State Constitution.
Yes, that's correct.
And I was here when Francis Tourbillon jumped out of the plane.
In 1981,
and flew down to Asahi Field.
Yeah, so. with the national constitution, he flew down with that.
Yeah, but I came here and my training and my entire career has been as an engineer.
Oh wow!
I'm a water systems engineer, water treatment engineer, and actually still doing that. But I've always been a musician. I grew up, my father was a musician. My father played anything with a keyboard. He played accordion when he was young, just like Imasei played the accordion. And so when I came to Palau, I think as I said in my interview the other day, my initial reaction to the music that I heard at the Palau Club. I think that was the first place I went to. And it was so very different from what I was used to. The 1970s music from America was very highly produced, and
Yes.
and there the stage was dark. There was no spotlights on the band. Sometimes the guitar player would be sitting outside of the bar playing the guitar with his cord coming into there. And I thought, wow, this is really different.
Very unique.
And I wasn't sure that I could, this is the only music I get to listen to. Because remember, back in those days, there was no internet. There was, we just had our tapes that we would bring with us.
1980 you came.
In 1980.
I was 10 years old at the time. So, Jim, do you mind if I ask how young you are?
I'm almost 64.
Wow. Well, you and your wife both still look amazingly younger than that. But I'm very grateful to finally meet you in person.
Oh.
So you have a German last name, but you're born and raised in the U.S. on the West Coast?
No, I was actually born in Illinois.
Oh, wow.
And
is that the Midwest?
The Midwest,
US?
yeah.
Cold.
Yes, cold and gloomy.
Oh.
And in the wintertime, anyway. And then hot and awful in the summertime. But I love Illinois. So
Yes.
For
Yeah.
Illinois,
Yeah.
and after college, I came here and was Peace Corps for 2 years. And then I moved to Yap in 1983 and lived in Yap for a year. But I was coming back to Palau, still working on the water system.
Oh, wow.
And then after Yap, I came back to Palau for about 6 months and kept doing work trying to fix
So you were helping the public works?
Public works.
Oh, with the water
Right.
systems
Yeah.
as an engineer.
Yeah.
And you graduated from college in
1980
California or the Midwest?
in Indiana. I went
wow.
I went to Notre Dame.
You know, Jim, you're really still in need of engineers. If in case you decide to retire, you can play music and just advise, give some consultancy help.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to help.
Yeah.
I thought I retired in 2016, and I had a company, and actually there's a ADIDIL that used to work for me, Abel Ramarui.
Oh, he's my cousin,
Yeah,
Abel
yeah.
Ramarui.
Yeah, and
wow.
he worked for me. He lived in Phoenix and worked in our Phoenix office.
Oh, wow.
But Malumil Tutal Abel.
Abel, if you're watching, and I know you're always watching Udesuall, Akmal, happy to meet your former boss.
But anyway, in 2016, I after many years being away from Palau, because the type of music that I play American old-time music when I'm
Yes.
not here.
Yeah.
And in our old-time music community, and that's music from mostly from the rural parts of America, from mostly in the early 20th century,
Wow.
19th century. It's the music that sort of evolved over time in the isolated communities in America. And there's a large group of people in the United States that recognize the value of that and are trying to preserve it.
It is the music that we can understand the words when it's being sung. That kind of music. I love that old American music as well, where the lyrics are very important and the deep meaning of the lyrics.
Yeah. But as I said, an important sort of mission of our group of people is to try to preserve and keep alive the music that could very easily be forgotten because, we have this highly produced music from Nashville or from New York City or from Los Angeles that is kind of formulaic,
Yeah.
right? And it's not personal.
Right.
It's commercial.
Correct.
It's meant to be commercial.
Ngal maral to ko ya, Jim. And not everything has to be commercial in this life. Kadmo koralo sa meaning.
So, 2016 was a time when I needed kind of a change in my life, and I decided, well, this is an important thing to conserve things. I know a community that has its music, that maybe there's something I could do. Maybe I could help somehow. And so I came here in 2016, and I had contacted Pia at the museum.
Director of Palau National Museum.
Boy. And
Olympia Moray, the mga sao.
And I said, well, I'd like to see what I can do. Can I help out in your media library? Anything I can do to help you? Oh, yeah, no problem. So she let me in, and I started kind of going through stuff that Simeon Navalbai had collected, and before that I had collected a lot of Palauan music, but
that you remember, Sir Ngirchoureng Palau. Oh wow! Because I know you can sing Palauan, so I assume that nobody can gossip behind Jim's back in Palauan, right? You understand Palauan very good, right?
Yeah, well, a bit metitur, but I have a funny story about that. We were in Sarangala. This is probably 2008. My wife and I were in Sarangala checking out, and one of the cashiers said in Palauan, said something about, look at this woman, and said something, and I said to her in Palauan, isn't she beautiful? And she was like, oh.
See? You never know.
Yeah. So,
Ikam lang alagal taang serom piskor pelo.
Lucio maansiling Ngirchoureng.
The Lucio and me, we are also cousins.
Oh, good.
His mother's side and my mom's side. And of course, Ensley, we love her dearly. Of course, you cannot gossip behind Ensley's back. She's also a true Palauan Maas already.
Okay.
Even though she comes from Chuk. Yeah. So wonderful. So the music, when you started going through the media archives with SIM, did you find that Palauans who wrote music in the old days were able to somehow conserve or preserve their work on either in writing or on CDs or cassettes? Or
So in 2016 when I came, there was so much I did not know. I had just a very surface understanding of what was going on. And at some point in my trip, Simeon showed me these boxes of reel-to-reel tapes from GESELBRACT.
Oh, from the olden days.
And we looked around because when I was a Peace Corps back in those days, I helped out at the Catholic Church with producing a weekly radio show.
Oh,
And,
right. No wonder you look so natural on the Udesuall. You're a pro broadcaster already.
No. Back in those days, all I did was I was helping with the technical part, and I knew that they had a reel-to-reel tape machine. So I went to the padre and I said, do you still have a machine? Oh no, many years ago that fell apart. It's gone. We couldn't find any machine on the island, and so these tapes couldn't be played anymore.
Oh, wow.
And so I said to Pio, would it be okay if I ship at least some of these tapes back to California, because I'm sure I can find a machine there,
Yes.
and then digitize the tapes. Wow. So we sent half of the tapes back there because we didn't know what was on them. Maybe there was nothing on them. And I spent the next year, almost a year, just going through the tapes, digitizing them, cleaning them up because they had kind of degraded over time. And so, you can do some things to remove the noise from the tape. And then I wrote to Pia and I said, send the rest. These are great.
Yeah.
And it turns out that in 1962, Ngirchoureng went on the air.
1962.
It's 1962.
Ang Ngirchoureng currently Eco Paradise, I say, FM.
And one of the first things that they did in probably starting in about 1963 is that they needed some content to play on the radio. So they had the records from Voice of America that they would get, and some
Yeah.
but they sent Bowery or Ngirchoureng
Oh, yes.
with a reel-to-reel machine and a microphone to go out and start recording people.
Oh, wow.
And so he started to record some people and play them on the radio. And then people said, "Oh, come to Imalik, come to Kayangal, come
Yeah,
to
the
all these
different
places."
states.
Yeah, and he went and recorded all of this music. So we have, in 1965, he went to Kayangal and recorded the Paradise Club.
Oh, wow.
And-
There was a Paradise Club in Kayangal in
Yeah.
1965?
Yeah, there was a group of people
Oh.
who would gather every week, and they would just gather and sing songs and
And they called their group the Paradise Club.
so then when Bowery came to record them, they needed to have a name, and so one of the women came up with the Paradise Club. That's who we are.
That's beautiful. Yeah, Kayangal is a paradise. So it's the only atoll in Palau. So they would get together, and would they sing on the beach with you, or when Bowery was?
They were
recording
at the
them?
bay, I think, and
at the
and
bay.
they would
At
they
the
would
bay.
they would just sing and so we have about I think 12 or 15 songs from that session.
Wow.
And then we have songs from the Tungalbai Band in Naimalik.
Say that again.
Tungalbai.
Tungalbai
The
Banda.
Tungalbai Band in Naimalik.
Tungalbai Banda,
Oh.
Aimalik State. And also a group. It's a group of people.
Yeah. Oh, the Tungalbai Band.
Tungabai.
That was the name of their band.
Oh, okay.
And many different villages had then groups that got together and did recording. We had the Lucky Seven Band in Ngirchoureng.
The Lucky Seven. Either they're 789 soup or they're Lucky Seven.
I say.
Or Lucky Seven. So
I started to, it was Olaolt. It was revealed to me. It started coming. I started understanding more and more about what I was listening to, and I would find the words to the songs and write them down.
I say,
And then as I learned more, then I came back in 2018, and then I started interviewing the people who were still alive that actually had recorded these songs.
etem lamam uodel. Akmo ko ramil ko tokor bela ya Jim.
Kabam.
Eka dim ko tokor Amerika lanti ka matingel wasa ka matingem. Mela ka 2016 eka ang mat los of emel el Mora Museum or lo bangela pia ang may gaigi del reels.
Reel to reel.
Oh,
was it?
emo mo ma start el revive. Mel mo digitized. Makamlo matingay kay kitol ko story was paurim lem marail record ay kay kitil pandal mingitak amle initiative ra governmental o ben kuktim le
Initiative adra Ngirchoureng.
Adil.
But also in 1963, there was a professor University of Hawaii, in Barbara Smith.
Barbara Smith.
Barbara Smith. And Barbara Smith is, I think she's still alive. She's like 103 or something like that.
Wow.
But maybe she just passed. But she was a ethnomusicologist. So
Ethnomusicologist.
why say?
Ethnomusicologist ang profession raya at tirigel musuba indigenous music.
Oy.
Oh, igel gukti music rather style balul. Legal culture. Oh,
Why say?
wow.
And the story that I understand is that some of her students were from Palau.
Oh.
And they said to her, you know, Kidemel mo belau, el mo record agel elitak ma omesra ngloik, and magere omel.
Preserve.
Preserve them.
Yang kang mle all sis aklam article students regel Amerikel, California.
Hawaii.
Oh, in Hawaii. Lessons. Oh, okay.
University of Hawaii.
Oh, University of Hawaii. Why you say?
So, Sarah 1963, mle ra belau. Mle record ra ABC band. Engour Boys Club.
Engour Boys Club.
ABC. Ma Friday Night Club.
Kung daswawan ramle member ra ABC bandal amle Jackson Henry.
Dia Neterio Henry.
Oh, ang brother Rengi.
Uncle Rengi.
Uncle Rengi,
I
yes.
say.
There was an Henry in that ABC band.
Oh, Neterio. He was the mandolin player.
Oh.
Malmadu.
Malmadu.
Wow. And so, ngel maasimle record the singers from that time, and it's my thought, Udesuall, that she kind of inspired GESELBRACT to continue that work and to continue recording things.
Malungin.
And so over that time, Abauri, Bibil Az had recorded at least 160, 170 recordings.
Ang way ay gel dodong recordings are original songs. Ang way say.
And that's how many I digitized.
160.
Something like that.
That's a lot of, songs that are very...
But there were other songs that he recorded that we have lost.
Adi...
Mle Remith.
Miltamal real?
Yeah. Well, maybe. But the other thing that happened was, if you remember your history, in 1980, 82, I think, 81, 82, there was the strike.
Why say a labor strike?
Labor strike.
Unions. I remember like 12.
And during that time, they bombed the Obisra president. And directly me bombra GESELBRACT.
ADIDIL.
And in that, we lost some recordings. And I know that because some of those recordings had been sent to the other Trust Territory radio stations. And there's the radio station in Balulaab.
Why say?
Someone had sent me a tape that they had made from the radio of the Palauan songs.
Micronesian islands and nations. Le say gidel time ang lebato karang halgarpela ul moraskura kay gidel guk ngara pats rabulabe ma savior ngara chuk malungil mang losob il guk matika baby raigal riri matingilal maskaw malungil limangal barbrang seraleme gukul recorde elen gorage ko inspire ang aral bela ul mo continue recorde say gide chimetos pe akaseta lubeng dirga kalbol kaseta
Dirga, just reel to reel.
Dirga reel.
I get clo reel.
Oh wow.
And so what we have is we have this freezing in time. And I know that there were a lot of mabatoka composers adal mangitakula in the 30s and 40s and 50s, but we have no record.
Why say man bring larong ulay kay.
We just have our memories.
Oh oy.
Why say?
Elang adi maklol ada remember ay gidel. Alitakra 30s, even 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s. And then Barbara say gidel 63 almengok. At least the no start to record the 60s.
And then from 63, Mora maybe 72 was when Bowery was recording.
Oh, 63 to 1972, medal 10 years. El Bowery recorded.
And I was able to track Miltika Bowery Oregon. And I was able to find Bowery
Oh, ra Oregon.
in Salem, Oregon.
Oh, amle.
And I sat-
with grandchildren or with children?
Yeah, and I think he had maybe some children in Oregon,
Oh,
but
I
he
see.
was just living by himself.
Oh.
But I was able to interview him and get some more of the story about what was happening, and
Malungi.
but this was a important kind of a view into a snapshot, like a picture, a seeing of what was happening in that time. Because many of these songs we don't know when they were composed.
Why say malmarang.
So in our book,
Oh, oi. El alsil jang hello ek helper galor kadi mo saudaringi mal sabi el capturing ira camera tiang alus el ADIDIL era KLECHIBELAU.
oh,
Songs of Palau, 1915 and more 1970. Oh, the year of my birth. Yamaral special.
1915?
1915. And more 1970. Wow.
oh,
Akmal mlongi larong ko morsel National Museum event el gym matonim le oban mlo sabi el sign rapu karanga mang di wila ko ay sa gym sa tia available Rabelao National Museum et tia book ra gym ati $35 emerald akmaral wase pom morar pom mol sakra ng alligator el almo appreciate tay kay gide agum daswen malungil ng milu cycle music ra alsel ngari nga gel baby ra ako ra music notes sul gulmes ra alsel oy
so the first
am garo ay sul gidel ngil book
it starts a history ra elitakular belau a history start so late 19th century 18 El Mora 1970.
Yeah, 1915 amral dirgam lomre ka German time la Japanese time.
And we don't know how. So these are all the derbe sealed, which are very, very different from the Esols, Marabati.
Why say?
Different from the music perspective. And one of the things that I haven't done, and if I live to be 100, maybe I will do, is Swakamusuba Agel Tokoyal Sela Rabati, and compare them to the Derbe Asil,
Why say?
the Osisiu or Ngova. And my sense from looking at just a few Rabati is that they're very different from the Derbe Asil.
Why say?
They're just the way that emotions are described is different.
Mungkora wangarang. Adarab asilet si mungkorsel dito ilirapuila. Ito kora mal romantic love songs. Ay kay kita adarab asil. Ay kay yakuk silu brakerel meklon. Di rabati ako sab el baby lengguk tokora Ngirchoureng. Why say?
I don't know.
How different? Ngara mudra rapatil ako kway ka la mosubi from the outside.
The Rebati, now this is only a few of them that I've been able to look at. So I don't know if those are actually they really capture all Rebati. So I don't really know. But the ones that I've looked at, Maral Direct.
Oh, wow.
Ndiaka kora meliwekle.
Ndiaka kora flirt, del kora charming, el kora. Ndiaka kora marurula.
Ndiaka kora omelau.
Ndiaka kora
omelau el tukoy.
Omelau el tukoy.
Sort of misdirection and things like that. That's very much a characteristic of the Derbe Asil. Balbatok kora omelau el tukoy.
I say. Derbe Asil serakot el mesakaw ngara a video. El gumeslak matingil wasir atara Abela nga krel bela nga brigela tamaral enjoy ra gym sila joy na Thanksgiving, celebrations, Michael daw langaringile kamaral mangitak laigel mal rulatrir mal kotibol nga ramal tila nga lu tal mervela velo polo ilira at kula alol at kula daw rakmungge makulume sa video rakal mal do okle ogi time maral ngigegital darab asil mal touch the heart. Mal ruti arungume malom klakker raw ngilto ko.
Oh, yeah, the Ngirchoureng, that video I did was the first video I ever did.
Ngirchoureng, yes.
Ngirchoureng, and boy, everybody remembers me for that one now.
Akmaral, I have to meet this gentleman and maral sa elmel ko mangitak law ngil itakar belaw. Ngaring ay gal ko rahmal stand out tial bukal alitak likel koraw lumuul kam koras mo din dira kal mal mring al tokoy tial marurengil put it together.
So there's a lot of reasons for me to do this, and initially it was just the music, just from a music perspective, but as I got into this further and further, I realized that the atakoi los perengira marula amiliba mangita elitakul was very important. That especially in the older songs, that there are words that are not in the dictionary. There are expressions that make me think about life. One of the reasons I like to study KLECHIBELAU is that it makes me think about the way that thoughts are expressed at KLECHIBELAU are evocative. They bring out. They make me think about words in a different way.
Udesuall.
Udesuall, why say?
Akamal masawlad sim halakoy ditil angit tila malklo tu talel malak maloreng ar other belaur el al time kaw majini matoni mlera el al mal tokubet sul gora critical time ra history ra blur belaur el anya 2022 magim akora mga simra oko rak 40 years sel exodus ra 40 years ra belaw arsele katanga borderline mang aikal tokora music amral toko aikal blamdung ka angka jim angir oreng amal wasel ulman swal masuba tokor belaw angaringi aikal expression aikal tudung tokor belaw el balgul aruli mongkoraway abol lomdaswa aklangar maklaat waseng they evoke certain thoughts and about life. Sayaw mal makureng wasar ngalgel belaw akmadingel waseng ngaringi tirigel morets mal soril marula music ang ngalgel belaw akmaloreng wasar komong ra museum edirekal ngutian kami young people komong kom arartial bukrajim mong sabiul kuksubi sel history raikal lo mga mangat maklel mamrela music adikidara since the 30s all the way melmuter elang after 40 years lang maral ngaringa difference o ay makamlutel malmon malwaseng nguul man swamal masuba ay gal tokol nga alsel ay gal litak.
So as I said, the words are very important, and as I talk to more people, as I talk to the composers, and I talk to some of the older musicians, one of the complaints that I hear over and over again is that the words are getting changed. And that we need to preserve the original words and understand the meaning of them. And And so if you look inside the book for each of the Gabon, each of the songs, I give the lyric KLECHIBELAU, and then my translation ni OLKERIIL.
Miselbo mo mesat tial book, tiang Jim el book kawa, direk malungil educational. Makamal masaul, lang I have never seen one al white tial mal preserve ra history. Nga seselbra al selabo kaya nga rin igel lyrics, igel tokor tial alitak lalo saklit atul. Engi ang rin isel guk lo saklit si edel ngoy dil mo tokor Amerikel. Mandira kal white tiragal ko young generation or belal korati mal ko tokor Amerikel. Asabi el moriate a little suabi sel mol abul gul tokor belaw.
Well, and then because I look like or I sound like a college professor sometimes, but I'm not. There's lots of footnotes on the lyrics, and that started out for me, and then down at the bottom. Let me sit down, way down here.
Footnotes.
Down at the bottom, there are little notes for words that, especially in KLECHIBELAU, there's a way that words are made that for the longest time I did not understand.
I say.
So you have a verb, let's see, مرول.
Marur.
مرول.
Verb marul.
And then you change it to say, instead of saying مرولنgi, you say ruli.
Maruli.
Why say?
Mlaruli, maruli,
rirali. And sometimes the word changes a little bit when it is like that. And so for Adra Ngoda Balu, looking at that, it's very confusing. And so I'll make a footnote to myself to explain this is how that word is formed. And for a moral other belau, what you look at that and you think, what? But for other people who maybe don't have as strong a command of the language, I think it maybe helps.
I'm sure it will help more than 100%, Jim. Let them kahaladi desawan al example. Nga kadir ka ngaya sa tel alitakla. Esel got the line at tel alitakla se kawa maral dia kamo tang liari ngala. Esel translation ra kawe Jim. Ngirchoureng awase se kawa amaral dia kamo tang liari ngala. You truly do not know the pain. Essay akmal maral valgulsi. Ya makamamar other velal akmal romantics. Emal akmalungi laro it warms my heart. I'm sure akmal warm the heart of all the palauan sel rang saul mingi takle kamal treasure at tial valgul tial tokor vela. Makamal masaur sel share.
And I'm sure mal batoka mistakes are ngak el selatiang, so please let me know. We'll say, yuck. That's not the way what's not what it means.
We gotta start somewhere.
If we have time, though, I'd like to give another example.
Please, we do have time.
So I'm going to ask Janice to play a recording that was made in 1936. So this is another song that was recorded. In 1936, there was an expedition that was funded by the Bishop Museum from Hawaii, but it was a joint project with the Bishop Museum and a university in Japan back. So 1936.
Ngu era makamat. 1936 ang laringia expedition ako Omarail ang gigi del Bishop ra Hawaii mar other siabal Miral Merbelau.
And they went to many different islands in Micronesia, including Palau. And they brought with them one of the expeditioners, whatever you call them, people. He specifically was studying the music.
Mle adra siabal, mle adra.
Adra siabal.
Adra siabal. Oh, mangulban tarir masuba music.
Nklela
Masuba alitak.
Muranushi.
Muranushi.
Muranushi?
Muranushi.
Something like that.
Okay.
And they went to Ngirchoureng and gathered people and recorded them.
Wow, mata tulumo ralimer bela tamlor ngarat mangaram langoy e mangita pararat e recorda. A recorda igal alitakri.
So this song that I'm going to play, that Janice is going to play, of course, it didn't have a title back then. It was just a song, but I call it Etude.
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 Etude, CHETUD.
Why say Etude?
Sel blabol muut taklal ang muut o sel bol muut ang old or decay. Ya etude ay gel dudul wase our decay.
Our decay.
Ay gel mlamo etude ay gel etude al bail etude al ngarang clock kledel mlamo muut. Okay, malungil etude.
So let's listen to this song.
Okay, sulang ya Janice.
So kabome.
Tia maral aikel modern sa background de gym ta kalom brota. Sen maral gura.
That was so they made these recordings on what was called a wax cylinder recording.
Oh.
This is long before tape machines.
Yeah, era World War II. In 1936.
And so that's the sound that was just from these cylinders because. So they made these recordings in 1936, and then Selmo Marek, they shipped them all back to Hawaii, to the Bishop Museum, and then they sat in storage for...
Bishop Museum, Hawaii.
Oh, and then they were just sitting in storage for 40 years.
Wow.
And then they restored them. And they were really decayed. Malamumuut.
Matiawa se etude o adangay. Erongula ngula men omngay ku rangak amalabadebaka. Engak amalabadebaka. Rolek raget almerapay egurusi. Said the decay in our relationship, sweetheart, its feelings have run their course. And so you are about to leave, and I contemplate my long path through the clearing that comes to the bay is a lonely one. Maraklabokal. Tia itaklela ang karubak, al-morang kalmaas, al-muur o marael, al-muoroy taringi.
But one of the things that so this is an example of a word that has such a deep meaning, KLECHIBELAU. The fact that when we say aklom ma'ut, that it recognizes that inside of us begins a decay that slowly reveals itself over time. Why say?
Why say? Halakui di at Jimmer, Mbarat Mol at the Alblam Dali, Ako se selva tongat atu a true musician. Enga engineer background ng maral sab el smoothie tial alitak al mal sel mol al bulgul. El anji mo se tial tokol atud. El tokor be laul atud e ngoidi katoidi lo se hour dk. Mal close to telel et mol abulgul tokoy tial atud el ngo otisel lo se ngara al set. Amrael mo ut kada mrael mo wod lo mrael mo ut ding aigel tatung kukora ngara al sed al mrael mo o maklol medwub asel moral mo ut at mol alen malat karsegi dal sweetheart ringi Michael relationship ringi yang mo engya marolang mal mol andi ka iwi selong erung mulidi Mase akbal ko dengi kul dengi ngaya pa dengi melmong ngaraw ulak langar. Mase if I really had known, if you take your body and go, what would be the purpose of life? Mase ngikaw mo oroy teng mal.
I would be lost without you, in other words.
Why say, America you can simplify it. I would be lost without you. Dito ko bela amral say kitem mo ko ringi gym. Pebilang imol word imol tokol atud. E kada sa bedel mataswil waset tiang wungil ng alubang masaw tara makngit hindi sel alitak mal mo maliwek kartial ngi amro langkal maasar ngi. Amo otil wa siya atu the precious tial memory ringi Michael lo rekatara ngulak pan maringi amarola. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And then what I really wonder is what were they doing in the bay?
Why say? Yeah, wase aking arabay diterung al dangareng ngaraul at tardemeng eranga. We are at the bay, just the two of us behaving badly. Why are you frustrated with me? Adil mungkurat telelo se amle ngaringa tuop luru ringi el amle fall in love. Talakmal mo ka ultigareng mungkuratim lo tiaklom karel wasang at tiapay. Abalu.
But what's wonderful to think about is we are listening to a recording that was made 90 some years ago, right? Almost 90 years ago.
Why say?
And who knows?
Almost a century.
Who knows when it was written? And these are people who have long passed.
Why say?
But we have a glimpse of their heart.
Why say?
Just a small view of what the feelings were inside their heart.
Why say? Akmal mereng asule medjimle. El Amerika la korap le oil el beot selom dasra romance etomom dasra Romeo and Juliet. Egel kora drama mama Palau kita direk ngarinya igel tutong Romeo and Juliet luasure matule. Oy ding maral tial tokor Palau maral ngaringi say gital mol al romance rapal tigering. Lego tokor stranded al ngara imol island. Tumor kadiliwek ra katalala but tagiril ka upal tigering. Mal klabo kala. Melang ang ngikay kita initak lang alsela kumes kadira kalilo sa notes man sa irangal kal masubalaw kita. Malo balo piano ang kita la kamlilo sa notes. Oh wow. Malungil. A background ka Jim as an engineer akmal dio mes tialbo kay wase tia maral to kubet sulungil education. Awul makmil arara tang akmal matangali ang alike kalame. Moswal lo munguy waringi uso ko na oy ngaring isel dili wase ang patokol musicians ang wase mo makita ran dil wase top 10 cycle to ko era tira kal mla interview ra Haley ri Why say tirgal musicians ma Johnny B ru era almat to aseng mo kitarang mam sel so mag aklalo sitel alitak sel malmlara rungukol ku ngaraw to swega marungukol el talitel tokortel alitak rangal kalbebi le tokora dingun me egora they do a cover for it and then gora di more mi double cool sel close tokoin le swal sel message kakum kora amotatsa say giteling I can see it's deep in your soul kamal sa emel understand that yal ilbalgula tokorbelau it's amam da so tokorbelang meringla dosu
Meringel, mal meringel.
oh and then so mo kaming itak karing ngal mutal meringla lubang kora rulil mo ba yun
When I sing, I can say the words easily, much more easily than when I can speak.
Why say?
And I don't know why, but my tongue gets all twisted up sometimes.
Oh, diyan tiungil. See young people, como molobe sa tokorbelaw. Kaway mo mangitakla, luaya Jim. Mo ko ma instruments, elang maral family day mo malungil sa dokora o ay say kay kita Jim lang. Kamatengay Sera Bella Raida R Sir Omera 1980 Abela maldir ka 10 years old ang cell time artulungal katir kat mag ang araya sumbay o kita o mangura pero also rin lo murik matadir mula ka lemekaldib mal saya island atmosphere akmal mo Mr. Saygit le al time 40 years later ang mal hindi ka dil COVID igal technology ma modern devices mlame ma tulungal ka plol gora ad mengil ngara pita mapital lola pateng wa tir mangara computer plus ang goram la mo ngaringa te al maral sa ermida kay gidil Quran pang Quran mal got mo klol atal ngara play batengay kal litak mo dia ka te a little share ngaringa te lel mormida Kamal Masaula. It's a music is a beautiful family. Yeah, it brings family and community and country together. How long did it take?
So as I said, I started. It's a lot of pages. I say. I like to say I could have used a good editor, but
it's about 450 pages.
There's 150 songs.
Wow.
And I set this book up specifically to be a songbook, to be used for a singer. So that's the reason why I have the spiral binding, so it's easy to put there.
Why say?
And each song has each has it open, so you have it very easy to use. But then I have the history of the music in the front, as best I understand it, and I'm sure I've missed some very important people in this.
We're grateful that you've got something together.
But in the back, I also have various listings of all the songs in here. So. So for each of the composers, I list all of the songs in this book that they composed. And where I know the history of the composer, the little bit of the story, I wrote that as well. But there's many of the composers that I don't know anything about their story. I would love to have, when I come up with a new edition of this book, I would love to have some photos of these people, just to preserve their memory, because this book is not about me. This book is about KLECHIBELAU Elitak.
Way atol mistrir o dang silit malmla masaw. Kamal masaw la Jim hala kuidil motor belaw ela sel bortial bukra Jim sel tour the back ngari yang clear tirgele milu cycle itak campus tirgel ko klodongal tarira Ngirchoureng alilu sa ako ram kekarel lilu sang clear mam kekarel description Enting kaki talolingit tulwase alsuko mangaringa omodongal tarira luban siya singerti please send the morning ngari email address ka ngara email address ka am sharing email
Malbayot, ngirchoureng@gmail.com.
Kom vi email ngil siyasing alubang ko karel story ngaral kirel tirgayid el composers el other bela mora Jim GESELBRACHT at ngirchoureng@gmail.com.
Yeah, just ngirchoureng@gmail.com.
Masel email address akmal di wase ngirchoureng@gmail.com.
Oo.
Halaba ko all tabebirang clear tirkal at altang ngaringar adarir malreng sa makukal altan sab irol ko koramo malat kartire elang ngaringa alilu sa tiang al tirgel adam lamot yakal ngara tolongolet ndit dire kal mal masaw lun mayo baikal alitak ma music arbelaw darab asi langaringa Adalberto Obak mangaringa bantari olabu mapopay waloy Boysek amaudiong kang iyang ngira kalapit
So brother Kapakol.
oh iyang ngira kalapit a brother ra Kapakol Kapakol ang kaltamala Kapakol ramyun sa
Kapakol Alfonso Malub Kapakol ngira
ngira kalapit oh ngira kalapit I say Mangaringa tudiw tuti, aspangal esbay arbadul, aringa hidebo sungyama, yaadyaw, makabukol Alfonso, ngira kalbit. O makabukol Alfonso, iya ngira kalbit, Odam brothers. Wow! Hindi na kan mahal nga rin nga, batokal, wow! Ya katokora ano ratira chim halak uy wang clear, ako dep klol at, mangirasyaw raol ngarad. Kakalel ko ra atala Gloria ngirasyaw. Hindi na kal singer, mal talent ringi, one of my good friends. Oh, malungin. Ngirom tilaw nga mais, Mangari Obak Takusi, OLKERIIL Teteo, Rau Erkaske, Siro Budul, Pinakabatok. Wow! Engar nga simang, ang simang ang klel. Paul Takubongs, also known as Paul Simang. Oy. Okay, Raimeli, Kaskilang Mitsungi, Tadong, Rangayang, Tem Obakarabaw, direk ay mali kam lebeto kar mingitak karingi tilay erung ala tiamal giredal mo ngilarong ulale lang former governor ay mali kam hopefully el ay mali elementary school mal Morets hopefully ang kukora o sisipitial bukol mora education ay mali mewang aru dala wataru albalaw yaw ayat imasay Ezekiel. Wow, imasay Kalmirura, national anthem rekit. Oh, Dr. Dever's grandson, Ongi Kli ay masay. Yoichi ringil, Yoichi K ringil, Yonat Malwat. Wow. Kay kita igel guklis traigel alitak play campus raw era 1936. Mga nga igel late 1930s, 1940s. 1950s, 1960s, late 1960s. Tiamra lungil mal. It's a historical book as well. Oh, ay masib era adal Songbook, Waisel Molkoringi, matamasu barangal kalaw kita, maru piano, sel sorry ringi dilokora, asu bambalakal read. Akmal marang asule Ngirchoureng ale tiamral preserve. Mal mga reo malekut mok like el klabo kale yung klol tutalel tarab asil ali takarbelaw. Ngari nga kurangot al suam al mokbung al kukuramo mga simra program rigit. Aktira kaloreng al waseka umagini matoni moplo oil al kukmer pelaon me visit. Oy ay kakmal mering alurior. Kau ngari nga kura aku ngeso le korga ul ser omomu ray kay gidel digitize ay kalreel semol nga sera museum al melmuter elang.
Yeah, so I started, like I said, in 2016, and then I spent some time digitizing all of these recordings, and then once I had the recordings, then I started to go through them and write down the words and try to translate them, and then I would write a little article about the song on a blog.
Oh.
And many people have seen my blog, the Ochacha.
Oh yes, I've seen your Ochacha blog.
So I used that Ochacha as a way to write what I had found and put all of the recordings of the song and to start to try to understand it.
Oh, I see.
So I did that for a couple of years, and then I had collected a lot of interviews with people, and I would put those into Ochacha. So then, Sara 2020,
Oh, isa lomo la pandemic.
akmle at tiang, March of 2020.
Akamlaro era lockdown.
Just before.
It's just before lockdown in March
And
2020.
so I was here, and I had another week to do more interviews that I was scheduled, and I was actually driving out to Imalik to go visit with Haley,
Oh.
and I hear on the radio that the airport is going to be closed. I say, what's going on? And my wife was still in the States, and we had been talking, and she had been saying, "You have to get home."
Oh, she was what? Ginny was getting worried.
Yeah. So then I ended up having to take a plane a week early and go home. So then I got home, and we thought COVID would last for maybe a month. You know,
We all thought.
we all thought that. So I thought, okay, well, we're going to be locked in our house, so I might as well just sit down and start writing down everything that I have.
Wow.
And so that was 2020, and here we are, 2022. So
It
that's
took you a couple of years. It's an excellent accomplishment. Ngirchoureng Jim GESELBRACHT. Moringa time elatel belam la moringa Hall of Fame. No, eka already akmal wasengal Ngirchoureng agirel ngara Hall of Fame gid. Leng legal belau bi score lo botikarong urtel bolum subi atoko aming itak la tokor belau. Edire kalmaral mlakut makli aklo lureor in the last couple of years. Komes mle COVID yaklangal tanga talwatia metwa badalang wase achi mo saktinga rapli mahal I might as well start putting it together and writing. Makamal masaul kirel tiang amal close single mera pelur belau mar other belau.
But I could not have done this by myself. And I must recognize all the various people who helped me and who straightened me out where I was really... A lot of times I would try to read in too much to the Palauan language, and many people said, no, that's not... That's just you getting creative again.
Yes. Hindi ka naman ang asule la Ginny for all her patience. Okay. Yang ngirakabit. Chang ngirakabit. Pronounce
Yeah, he had a bar in Chiang. He had
correction. At tartirigay gidol taano ratira Chiang ngirakabit. The original composers in the 30s.
Yeah, he was later, but he had a bar in Guam or Saipan.
Saipan.
House of Chiang.
Chiang luluay sa ringiya. Moses ma Gloria Hunter kira Saibal. Yes, leon ral a restaurant da bar. Malungil Chiang ngirakabit. Man successful ra Marianas. Okay, thank you for the correction. dia kamal masauling, I'm sure etial buka tira kal angaring alis tira kay kita rokuil koram le ol nga sior kau. Alam loring ya kora umreng al saul mortir makamal masaul. Kadira kal mal no masaul ay kal bisem el me kablo oil el sel mga museum ko waya omaklat kar kamam. Artial luriol moruring ya tiya director gibelas wala da Tia Luriol Moruringi Jim adira kalmal ngosukaw lingga director of culture. El alangari tia albukak maral she's a musician also. Director giplas mal marang asulem let tia albukak mal bolos peringi. Makamama mos peringi marang alkama mos peringi. Masubay kay gidal klabokal tarab asil ADIDIL KLECHIBELAU malugi la title ringil dire. Enguk marama with oy akmla tulil mo correct okay man masaw langgal koler oy makada aktira kal encourage ra roku il tira takadil makakarel at mar maklol other el al partra music ra pelur belau el katablo oil other belal mo obes wase ay kal tokoera alitak la omal asel mo omingit taklel may kaluriol blarula jim el koralo ara imol book ay kayak mal direk el ngosugi tertial rexirgi dar other belau legal emotions mga rarandir ar other feelings o tiam le tletay raklangar sel time mle mring laklangar mle wangra paltiker reng ara sel time ara ata dimlakak mal batok resources leng 30 salmel metrura temela makamate after makamateng apela kureng sang timle egale ay kang ngaral metal salvage sal metal el dim meliwek el dim laka may kay kita alitak la dire kal mal medicine for the soul ang karula rangut mal mesaw legim o ya akora kukomtas el almor matat tial Mel Sunday. Ang moringia event sa tirkal atara mo celebrate at tirkel guk atar belau. Kita rogul di ngaringia alit utargit. Di tirkel ko raka optoy sa alit atrir persons with disabilities. Tirkay ya tirkel mo celebrate ra next week alomo ra November 28 tal mo December 3rd. Ay kal event sa tir malomo al moringia talk shows al moringia music, band, dan moringa symposium, ratrablu rokuya, aki mong tao retir mo, makaki mga leertil wase po tata ka rokuya kutang sutari, to kartira direkal mal atra music. Malbebe la kunda sulwase, adios sa malo masarungul, malbebe la katomda sose nga kamal nga rin aktiv, hindi akakmutu oringi, hindi nga rin ar disabled malungil i-clear alubet ta sabiil ko harmonica to gita ngaring igel sabiil marul akmal hope ka ngartia ka majinil next week until next week
Oo.
ko ngartial mo oy ngara
Akmo 12 December 10.
Amakmal mga matawar kami uldirek. I'm inviting you and Jeannie and Tony.
Okay.
Please come and join. Especially sa symposium ertil moringira Thursday, December. Hindi ako moringira Friday. Friday December
2?
December 2. Al Friday ang moringira si Passion. Alit? Ngira kalbit. Oh. Oy. Kamusulang ya koler komeng ya. At siyang irakalbit. Akmla tuli say kita. Mal other belol dire kalmle moret al malu sa alitak lemingitak leulu restaurante o para Marianas Island sa Saipan. Oy. Hindi kakmal invite her back la adol was hindi ka daw bes ra Monday. Elo mo like ay gidal events ra International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Jimmy nga kamal matingil wase ay kaya dal tokora music ay kaya all the kararat dire kallo maklat omdoy so sel tokora paltikereng ratolong alirar beklat mga darab asil sel gimrengs ay gimal di mamalat kaungil tokoy wase ang maral mlengaring ya mring al time marapulur belam mlemring laklangar Hindi nga apal tigaring amin lamol man masisi. Nga rin ako le rigid mo takangale.
Irene kagida tesil ngaralengwa.
Oy, Tessie.
Oy.
Halakadang wa, kole rigid al Tessie na buwol nga presidente om kasang. Selgi bertia Udesuall lagi mo tingel wasang nga will tokol mo to para next week. Egi blo oil al gorase hal lagi mo maklat kama. Kapang ya Tessie awlaw al ekorakaw makukmo ay sar atrabalun waseng. Ngara ko raswadal mo mesa ra next week lo mo ra ko tuluriyoran mo sabato.
Ali tesi kangara air.
So malungit tutawe Irene mal masauler talte alla koradi gol inang gore di mal marang asulem ira kamal no arang gortal talk show lo bangel langir oreng. I know a lot of people with disabilities will go sa Maria Ratora o nga maalitak lo adire kalmal oreng se ekora o wadi galarang dir ti oisoy sa gidelo al invitation al gidela gal activities gidela next week. I know we said so much already. Di ka maldi mga $1 dalwasable sa barir el take a time ebel talo irgid al sumen sa barir mandi agel kukolora di oreng sergid over the radio malubet tome sergid a social media akmal direk kaldi oyak telte al mal el orang asurit trigen na lo dar sangi sumergi de direk kaldi open na yagi dele te al mal su mangaringa oras sa amiul ko ngoswit tel agal event sergid ma activities mal mol mal direk malay gigi del ngeso so adal ko kora kut maklita gidel celebration ergi del mo one of a kind ukmongo darayem la momrek goram aruli mang mo almut mo ngilaran dir tirgal ada ngaringa alit trima family certirang ano sel bodikri audio ramalmol ndi tira lamut almoraigel الباشور تيري ngaray gigi dele makasal time etukuk metwo badal me taloy rabuay ko mga tmoklay gigi del all tay gigi del kora ako success ma story certir ma share ako rang ideas rulin makat mo understand more about tokora alit utal nga sala balwat ngosugi del mos etel lo malat al mga tmoklay gel mo ngiya ol nga seorar baby rigid mar nga liget mang aktik mulay si Irene maldi all excited and maldi over the weekend and then a Monday yung omul activities makatamal lolingit ang lungo maklangal tangat algira lagay gidal activities lo sebol sab edel al nguawngil yang maungil rang dirarad the celebrate matanggo kamasulang kung at Ngirchoureng sa next week ang kung di po nakabatera malidyul magigit ang activities sa parade ma symposium Jal Saul
Kamaral masaw le Tessie. Thank you so much Tessie Nabuo at Tessie mga sireng young lady. Mga sireng kaya lengi ako kagitan makatek taloreol ko koror tertiale alaat belau o makasang association persons with disabilities rakuk al selbelaw dire akalik seringira vilani mga saw matirger roku ngar kasang akmal mo pantarire mal mrenga sulela at tesil kuk mala sa el gol in kaya kadodyo maklat karar balu ngara al sel micrel belaw luase kada kaya karel population hindi maral sel tarngut hindi ka mooit Tiya kangi tila dal mo o kora awi paramat malubeng mo o tiya kadalatki kidat yang Ngirchoureng al kadalot katrir tirgal mla mo oroy taratalongan let al millip au ngil alitak marenga sulem mal revive lo ay kay kite ol nga sir kamamal preserve mga reyo malay kay kite lungil alitak mol apel kulay kel tokwera alsel maktire kal mal lo bangkel at Tessie Nabuo mal mga le atarabulul wasa next week Sel Monday malo mo like talk show so Michael family hour lo bangela Honorable Vice President, Tradur Stel, December 1st. Nga mo Monday, talk show sa mga ringa parade sel Tuesday. Maliakmal, low ay sa kumirangal kara school. Let's go out there and have fun. Ito nga limra parade, el moringi, lo mo at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, or sel madala asa no mastor Tuesday morning, melmera madala PCC. Nga kamaktira kan morsay, mapol sab mga gitar kaw matoni, kita ditang okla kuk mga limertir. Media dire kal malol nga sew, matala morsay with microphones, letia lurere de Ngirchoureng all talmora abalu. Emo live streaming mga internet tarangar aroy damo madangel wase o yar other bela makasain dito dire kalmal el karikikla rarbebi rigi del tira ko talgi belop toy sagal alit uter tira klangar tir ending maral boto kartir ahmal soa kalmo madangal tarille el all time el kuktomu el rabes after 40 years kuktomu rabes el bakas tial balun mormatat en kataus perar beklaat Michael ngia sabir el gukotars el merapalu el loya ka alitak lam omalu sama aldo leng ay kay arulit el bulwada malamol malungil balu akmal mereng asule la kuk direk el radra Ministry of Health and Human Services le sel kuk obis el kora tira ol nga seor kasang Palau Parents Empowered at tirigel kuk tira parents ang alikira disabled ang Seigi del lobby sa under public health ya director Seigi del public health sharing matraisaw mga mereng asulil direk ni ma-minister kafar Palau le at kora wayal plel encourage ra other kasang Palau Parents Empowered and mo invite ra kamam other abalu other media maway nga kalkuk other reor masyopay magim lot maget maklo pantarir el kora organize emily vaikal polo rule events next week I'm telling you, it's gonna be fun. It's going to be fun. Mal direk mo ngosugit mo matangal tarira ar baby regit el tiragiri lultimok el parter tial balwad ma akarul marokuil matabutu para al selablu el mormatat. Masulang etesi Ngirchoureng ahmal Ngirchoureng alwase Ngirchoureng machini Ngirchoureng alwase ali ko mera next week. Mal special guest mal memo join.
Okay.
Ay kay especially kay kita ko parade the road campaign sa morning ra Tuesday masel symposium morning ra si passion ra a Friday ay kay direk mote al ra ata alas kami at direk mo lot kitial wase persons with disabilities are patokar tirak malungil i-clear. Sabihin mga takle masuwe ol si sakle kal itakal direk el amo remember ay kel kuk flareng selo tangay makata encourage tir mo pangget malamol mal preserve mga reo male ay kay kita mandiakal rida ngari nga ako akmadengel wasa kang artel mo December 10 ngari nga ako ra planner ka ma Jenny matonil kuk besides regal events next week, ora somi ulmomarun, maalaba, abo ko marahonto, ko morger.
Elang mora hontora afternoon for Family Day, and we think on Sunday, Akimora Ngaramangui, and play for some maas up there. Malungil. And night. Sunday, December 4th. Morning, Rosel Cultural Center.
Ang Mayong Cultural Center? Yes, morning local showcase.
Arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts made in Palau, products and showcase right gigit. Malungil.
We will be joining other string band artists and other musicians from Palau, as I understand it, will be playing in a quiet style.
Yes.
To help the business people sell their crafts.
Why say di akakman man nga suli mo joiner say elasel International Day of Persons with Disabilities last day sel maral sales the celebrate the whole week for A December 3 sabatong. Masel afternoon ra sabatong al angara ewal clock 4 p.m. Ang moringa sel walk 1 mile walk and run ra track and field ra behind PCC Palau Community College. Followed by ang nga programs tira works of love and music therapy session. Aktira kalman look forward to kukmasa sa igi dalwasang mawangarang. Dakat maklidan morsel bol kukukal December 4th. Morsel guk local showcase made in Palau products and services. Kami utial mo band ako mo usokol. I love that. Akmal blool malkora pia sergi mara museum the other night. Ako sa pia igaya music for fine dining and good things rabalur belor selamer tourist. Lang of course ang ngaring night market. Ilguk sab irami kanil adal mom ta ngaringi mal enjoy arakalire makarang tirigel gukora maklol ade sabi ngaringi ududir moray kalungil restaurant ako tol sorry loreng saygay fine dining type of music at tokor belaw makamal masaul. I'm so glad you guys will be there moring ya patokol pandal lobang kami mal maungil. Okay, well akmal marangasulem. Enjoy the rest of your stay in Palau. Don't be surprised if you want to come up and again say, Ngirchoureng, Jim, please just say kuro, say hello, maladbolo ng algaw. Oy. Amal masaula. Okay. Maka tial Udesuall elal tuta, kimul meraw labong. Any last words before I close?
This work that I have been doing it's very much an honor to be a part of and to be able to help in the way that I've been able to help. And hopefully it is a help for people. So, Kumalu Sulang, thank you for welcoming me into your community.
We love you, Jim, GESELBRACT, Ngirchoureng. You and Tony, and if, of course, without Jeannie, you wouldn't be able to be here with us. So, thank you. Agi mal marang asulem mal batikarang mamarakaw makamal masauli. Please tial moruringil mal ngosuko mam other belaw plus agi mal kamama partra marigel dire also kung magimo archival music yang obangkela history raigal tablol bulwat al maral mo matat makamal masaul. Thank you and you're welcome anytime. Meraigal Udesuall, Dotaw, TMC, aigal bek patingel stations. Anytime ilguktalutal korakaw story. Okay, and aklangal tangat agi maureng mora Jim and Jeannie, Tony, maban dertir, edire malureng aklangal tangat al mall aklangal tangat al morar beklaat al ngara al selbelaw marang IRENE el family day the toldang sa daureng asaul. Adios akmal masaul. Magatamral di malamol mga saigid el spirit of gratitude. Kada makisip mal di man ang asaul katakmal ng tangat el rabalwad el tangaraput. Di ako omo sergit kada tangaraput esabet el algok sils ratulungal el kaldi belewngil at atu cell number 1 cook silubir obuko kara Johnson Toribio nga wase IRENE ul mang mga pato kauldi kala lera ada diakal forgive et tial boltiga ren ako to close to talel anding malo spare self forgiveness gida dal mo kausube sa igal kukura amlam tamal o mo el alto boda o mesra holiday season el mor matat el mor esrak kada masu bal kausubes kaw boltiga ren and play more music in the family because that's medicine for the soul. Ngosubira ay karangudol maungil. Mokomal masaulul pang kamam, ekuk kam take care. Happy family day, makuk next week.